Hello, everyone. Welcome to TD Board Gamers. My name is Dave.
And I'm Dirk.
And today we're going to look at the last hero of the Galaxy's Most Wanted wave.
He's the most important hero. Isn't that right, Eddie?
Venom. Flash, you're going to let us be called the Lethal Protectors. Eddie did not want us to be called the Lethal Protectors. But you do, right, Flash?
That's right.
All right. Anyway, yeah, so this is Venom, the Flash Thompson version. So let's take a look at what Venom can do.
All right, so in alter ego form, Flash Thompson is a soldier. He's got a hand size of 6. He's got 12 hit points. He can control one additional upgrade that has the restricted keywords. Generally, it's 2. He can do 3 by default. And then armed and ready. So set up, you can discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a weapon upgrade. Then you add that card to your hand.
Yep, so you have a million for a weapon, and he's got a 4 recovery.
Yep.
Then on the hero side, he's kicking his stat line there, apparently. So he's a hand size 12. Hand size 12. Hand size
Hey,
5.
I've been playing this character wrong then.
Yes, hand size 5, 12 hit points. He's a 1/2/2. Again, he still has you control the additional upgrade that has a restricted keyword.
You don't lose it when you go down. That's
Yep.
why.
And then he has the symbiotic bond resource. You could take a damage to generate a wild resource. And he's got a lot of cards that are resource specific required. So having this wild is pretty nice.
Yep.
All right. So the first card we have.
So we've got Behind Enemy Lines. So there are 2 copies of this. It is a 2-cost thwart event. As a hero action, you can remove 3 threat from a scheme. And if you paid for this using only mental resources, you could confuse an enemy.
Okay. Then we have 2 copies of Grasping Tendrils. It costs 2. It's a hero interrupt defense. When the villain initiates attack against you, cancel that attack. And if you paid for this card using only strength resources, stun the villain. Now, what's interesting is like that mental matches, but the protection card actually generates energy, so which is for defense. So you have to kind of be a little careful with.
And the aggression card generates
strength. It's only for attack
events. All right, then we've got Locked and Loaded. We have 1 copy of this one. It is a 0-cost event. It's an action. You can search your deck for a weapon upgrade and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck.
All right. Then we have, a really great card for his kit. Come on. All right. We have 3 copies of Run and Gun. It's a 3-cost event. Hero action, Ready Venom, and each weapon upgrade you control. So this is amazing because you'll see that you exhaust the weapons to do different things, plus any other weapons you add to your deck. Then you turn around and you play this. You get the Ready Venom and each weapon. That's pretty awesome.
Yep, especially with some of the different combinations you could pull off by exhausting weapons. All right, then you've got 2 copies of Savage Attack. So this is it's a 2-cost attack event. So this one you deal 5 damage to an enemy, and if you paid for this using only energy resources, it gains overkill. Again, the strength one generates
martial prowess.
Martial prowess generates strength, so it doesn't work for this.
All right, and then this card here, this is Project Rebirth 2.0, 1-cost support, alter ego action, exhaust Project Rebirth 2.0. Choose to either draw 1 card or heal 3 damage from Flash Thompson. So this is the Aunt May for Venom. But he has another option. He can actually use it to draw a card.
So what I want to know is what happened to 1.0?
That was Eddie.
He got eaten. All right, so then we've got Venom's first weapon here. So it's a 3-cost tech weapon upgrade, the multi-gun. It is restricted. As a hero action, you can exhaust the multi-gun and choose one of the following. You can either deal 2 damage to an enemy, choose a player, deal 1 damage to each minion engaged with that player, or remove 2 threat from a scheme.
Okay. Then we got Spider Sense. It's a 2-cost upgrade. When the villain initiates attack against you, draw a card. So this is like Peter Parker's Spider Sense.
Yeah, so now you notice this one is keyworded. This one is a superpower. Unfortunately, it is his only superpower, so we don't necessarily think Death Focus is a good play for this one. All right, then you've got 2 copies of Venom's pistol here. So Venom's pistol is a 1-cost tech weapon upgrade. These are restricted, so again, max 2 per player, but he can have 3. As a hero interrupt, when you use one of Venom's basic powers, you can exhaust this to get +1 to that power for this use. Now, so that's his basic power, so that works for his attack, his thwart, or his defense.
All right. Then his obligation is struggle for control. Give to the Flash Thompson player. You may flip to alter ego form, choose. Exhaust Flash Thompson and take 2 damage to discard this obligation. Or you put 1 set aside copy of Enraged
You don't
Symbiote.
need to struggle, Flash. Just give me control.
Right,
That's
exactly.
all I need, just for a little while.
So you can put 1 set aside copy of Enraged Symbiote into play, or Enraged Dirk, engaged with the first player. So not necessarily you, so which is even more annoying. If you cannot discard Gain Surge, discard.
It's only annoying if you're the first player.
Yeah.
You don't want the minion.
This is an obligation that does not get removed from the game.
Yeah, this was one of the earlier ones that did not, I think, wasn't it?
The Hulk had the first one, I think.
Was it? Yeah. All right.
All right.
I said
now,
one of. I didn't say the earliest.
This is a very unusual Nemesis set. So we're not going to start with the Nemesis minion.
So instead, we're going to start with his side scheme, which is the Clintar Frenzy. So this one comes in with 2 threat per player. Threat cannot be removed from this scheme while a symbiote enemy is in play. And it does have a hazard on it.
And 2 threat per player.
I said that. So
All
you
right.
never listen when I say those.
No, because so we have an enraged symbiote. 1 scheme to attack 2 hit points as a symbiote, guard, patrol. And as a boost, you put it into play engage with you. And it has a star icon. But that's not all.
We have another enraged symbiote. And another. And another. So he has no Nemesis minion.
He has
Instead, he
4.
has 4 of them.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Now, since Venom is actually a guardian, he is not a web warrior, he is a guardian.
Yeah. So that means he can have all the guardian allies. If you want to see a list of all the guardian allies, check out our group video. It's chapter marked for the allies.
All of them except for this one,
Right.
for obvious reasons.
Right. So obviously, this is Groot. I am Groot.
So Groot is a 3-cost ally.
I am Groot.
He's got 1 thwart and 2 attack.
I am Groot.
He does take 2 consequential when he attacks.
I am Groot.
He has 6 hit points.
I am Groot.
He is a guardian that requires guardian to play.
I am Groot.
And after he defends against an attack, he can heal 2 damage.
I am Groot. You got little there at the end.
Yeah, baby Groot.
Baby Groot.
All right. And of course, if
Uh-huh.
you're playing Guardian Allies, Laser Blaster. So this is a 1-cost upgrade. You can attach it to a Guardian Ally, 1 per upgrade, 1 per ally. And the attached ally gets +1 attack, and the attacks gain overkill.
Great one to the Voltron with Yondu. Then we got Comms Implant. It's a 1-cost upgrade. Attached to a Guardian ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gets +1 thwart and +1 hit point. And this is one of the rare thwart improvements.
Yes. Right? Of course, any Guardian is going to want to have their trusty booster boots. So this is the 1-cost upgrade. It is tech armor. And you do have to be a Guardian to play this. But when you would take any amount of damage from an attack, so it does have to be from an attack. Retaliate doesn't work. You can exhaust booster boots and discard the top card of your deck to prevent 1 of that damage.
All right. Then we got the CITT. It's a 2-cost support. Exhaust CITT and spend 2 resources of any type to ready a Guardian character.
Right. We've also got Nowhere because, of course, you're a Guardian. You're a real Nowhere man. But it's a 2-cost support. It's a location. You do have to be a Guardian to play it. That increases your ally limit by 1. And then after a player plays a Guardian ally, it's apparently there's an earthquake in Nowhere. You can exhaust Nowhere, and that player draws a card.
Well, Nowhere's on a fault line.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got team building exercise, 2-cost support. You can exhaust team building exercise, play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. So, all those Space Knight cards.
Yeah, there's so many of those.
But Guardian, you're going to have, if you have Guardian allies, but Venom could actually be a hero that you may choose to not put this card in because he does not have a signature ally.
That is correct.
So
So, I mean,
it's
unless you're playing the Guardian theme and decide to play a few Guardians, this one's probably not going to help you much.
yeah, but if you go Guardian heavy, then this could help.
Yep. Right. And then, of course, because Flash happens to be a soldier, so you would have to be in Alter Ego to play these. But a couple of cards that you do have available to you if you're playing aggression, you have Man on the Wall here. This is a new one that came out with the Winter Soldier pack, but it's a one-cost upgrade. It's a title, requires Soldier trait to play it. So like I said, you have to be an Alter Ego, but you can exhaust this as a hero action to reduce the cost of the next card you play this phase for 1 for each enemy engaged with you.
Right. And the classic soldier card is Mission Leader. 2-cost upgrade, title, reduce the cost to play Mission Leader by 1 if your identity has a soldier trait. And then after a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Mission Leader. Each player draws a card. So you get a 1-cost discount in Alter Ego, but
you can play this one on hero side, but it costs you 2 to play as the hero.
And I usually include this in my leadership decks, even if I'm not playing a soldier.
Yes.
But the nice thing is you do get a 1-cost discount.
Yep. All right, moving on then. So Venom likes his toys. He's got 3 of them, but you know what? He would always love to have more. So he loves to carry around a handy dandy side holster here. So this is a 0-cost upgrade. Play it under any player's control, max 1 per player. I've never understood why it's max 1. Why isn't it 2? You can have a holster on either side. You've got 2 hips.
Nope.
I don't get it. But you can control 1 additional weapon upgrade that has the restricted keyword while you've got this in play.
And don't let your kids be around Dirk if he thinks weapons are toys. All right. Godslayer does something to put in your holster. 3-cost upgrade, restricted. When your hero makes a basic attack against a unique enemy, exhaust Godslayer. Your hero gets +2 attack for this attack. So now the big thing with Venom is he wants lots of weapons. So that's why this is included.
Right. We also have, since he likes the weapon so much, another option here, you can go with the hand cannon. So this is a 2-cost upgrade. It is restricted, so it requires the side holster, but 3 charge counters on this. When your hero makes a basic attack, you can exhaust this and remove a charge counter from it to get +2 for the attack, and the attack gains overkill. So that's the really nice part about it. The +2, not a huge deal in a lot of cases, but that overkill is really nice.
All right. Then we got Yarbjorn.
Well, you'd think that Thor would get jealous of so many people borrowing his secondary weapon here, but a lot of people like this one.
Well, it's in space. So.
Yeah.
1-cost upgrade, restricted, max 2 restricted cards per player, except for Venom. After your hero attacks an enemy, spend a strength resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy.
Okay. If you're playing Justice, you've got a few less options, but you've got the sonic rifle here. So this is a restricted weapon, costs 3 to play, but you can exhaust this, remove a charge counter from it to confuse an enemy. And if the enemy is already confused, you deal 3 damage to it instead.
But what if I'm playing pool?
If you're playing pool, well, you got a couple of options there.
All right, so the first one here is Bazooka.
That's the big gun.
A 2-cost upgrade, restricted, and you can have max 2 bazookas, so 1 for each hand. Discard bazooka, deal 1 damage to an enemy for each of the bad icons in play. This attack gains range.
I would hope so, because that would really hurt if it didn't have range. But, you could always go with the laser swords here, although, I don't know, I don't generally probably recommend this one a lot of the times for characters that like a lot of weapons, because this one does count as 2 restricted cards. So it does limit what else you can play. But if you're planning on playing a lot of the negative cards, this one can be really good because you get +1 attack for each negative symbol in play when this is out. It costs 3.
Well, plus a Space Knight needs a light saber. I mean, a light sword. Laser sword. And then the last gun we got.
No, it's not.
We got more guns. Okay.
The last colored gun we've got. How about that?
That's okay. No comment. So we got a stun gun. It's a 2-cost upgrade. It's tech weapon, restricted, uses 2 charges, exhaust stun gun, and remove 1 or 2 charges from it. If you remove 1, you can stun a minion. If you remove 2, you can stun the villain.
All right, so moving into basic, we've got a couple of options here if we wanted to get some additional ones. The plasma pistol, of course, this is a 2-cost weapon upgrade. This one's also restricted. It uses 3 charge counters, but you can exhaust it and remove a charge counter from it to deal a damage to an enemy.
Now the last weapon we have is Pulse Grenade. 2-cost upgrade, hero action attack, discard Pulse Grenade, and choose an enemy. Discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Deal 1 damage to the chosen enemy for each boost icon discarded this way. Now, the advantage that this has is it is not restricted.
That is correct. So you can actually have 3 of these in play.
Yeah. So the reason you want to have some extra weapons, of course, is during setup, you're discarding cards to the top of your deck until you discard a weapon. So it doesn't matter what weapon upgrade you get. So the more weapon upgrades you have, the better.
The sooner you get to one.
The sooner you get to one, but you can only control 4 restricted. So, you might just, and your kit comes with 3. So you might just want to add maybe 1 more restricted and then the pulse grenades or something.
Yep.
To get things going. But if you want some variety on what weapons, then these other weapons we suggested could work as well.
But if that setup's not enough for you, you can always play the Lock and Loaded. So this is a player side scheme. It costs 1 to play. It comes in with 2 threat per player. But when defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for a weapon upgrade with a cost of 3 or less and put it into play. And so far, all the weapons that we showed do have a cost of 3 or less. But another reason why you really like a lot of these weapons, especially ones that don't require you to exhaust, like the Pulse Grenade,
is we got Fusillade here, 2-cost event. It's an attack. Exhaust a weapon upgrade you control, deal 5 damage to an enemy.
Pulse Grenade doesn't cost you to exhaust, but it does discard. You don't really use it a lot of times. You just play it out. You've also got Firepower here. So this is a 1-cost event, attack event. You can exhaust up to 3 weapon upgrades you control. And for each upgrade exhausted this way, you can choose an enemy and deal 3 damage to it with ranged. Now, the great thing is you can choose for all 3 of those. You can choose the same enemy or split it up between any combination of 1, 2, or 3.
All right, then we have Mean Swing. When your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon upgrade you control, your hero gets +3 for this attack. Now, also there's some shield weapons, but you would have to team up with a shield player and they would have to make you an honorary shield member. But then those
the shield weapons don't require you to be shield. They just require a shield character to play. So you could do it if you played shield characters, shield allies.
Oh, you can?
Yes, you can do those if you play shield allies. But yeah, they require a little bit of extra. So that's why
they had to be attached to a shield player, a character.
Shield character, yeah, but you can.
Yeah, but you can't.
Allies work.
Yeah, but
they don't require a shield player.
You can't put them on yourself.
Correct. You cannot put them on yourself
unless someone makes you a shield recruit.
Yes. All right, and so we noticed earlier though, whenever we were looking at the Venom cards, he's got these cards that require specific resources. Again, we talked about the thwart one. Can use the standard. For the thwart, you can always use Sense of Justice because that gives you a mental resource for a thwart event, and that one requires mental. The other 2 do not line up so nicely.
Yeah.
So
this is, so for those who aren't familiar, Sense of Justice, 2-cost upgrade, play on any player's control, max 1 per player. You can exhaust it to generate a mental resource for a thwart event, which is behind enemy lines, would count, plus any other yellow.
Now, you can always use Venom's symbiotic bond ability to generate the second mental there if you need to, but you can only do that once per phase. So if you wanted to do this some additional times, depending on what aspect you're playing, if you're playing in aggression, you've got a couple of options here. You've got aggressive energy, which whenever you spin this card to play an attack event, that event deals 1 additional damage and it deals a wild. So of course, if you're using the attack event here, the attack event requires 2 energy. So you can use these to generate the energy portion of it, as well as his symbiotic bond or another card that generates energy. You also have Audacity here, which is after you spin this card, you deal 1 damage to the villain. So of course you deal a damage to the villain. And that's the great thing about these is they all have a secondary effect, or they all have a primary effect that you can get out of them that you still could very easily use in your deck but they give you that wild resource that you can use to trigger your events.
Okay. And for justice, we have the same thing. For this one's for behind enemy lines. So we got determination. After you spin this card, remove one threat from the main scheme. So that's an extra bonus that you get. And passion for justice. When you spin this card to play a thwart event like behind enemy lines, that event removes one additional threat. So you would remove 4 threat instead of 3. Yep. And if you use both those cards, you're actually removing 5 threat.
Yeah,
or
that can be a really nice.
Or 1 threat from the main and 4 threat on whatever scheme you're doing.
Yep. Right. So then, if you are in leadership, now you don't have any events that tie in this specific to the aspect. However, you can still use this to trigger off any of these, like the behind enemy lines, the grasping tendrils, or the savage attack. So this will still work with any of these. So you've got effective leadership here. Now this one is when you spin this card to play an ally, that ally gets +1 thwart, +1 attack until the end of the phase. But if you can, so you can either use it for that ability, or you can use it to help pay for the for the specific resource on one of these cards. You also have innovation here. After you spin this card, you can heal 1 damage from an ally you control. So you can play that one for the event and still heal an ally as well. So that's a nice little combination there.
All right. Then for protection, which is for
the grasping tendrils here,
which you want to generate strength. So these are both generate wilds. We got preservation. After you spin this card, you get to heal 1 damage from your identity. And defensive energy. When you spin this card to play a defense event like grasping tendrils, you get to draw a card. So you get to heal 1, draw a card, and
stun the villain.
When he initiates an attack against you, you can stun the villain.
Cancel it and stun them. That's right. The great part.
Cancel, stun, heal 1 damage, and draw a card.
Yep. All right. So of course, also if you were in leadership, another thing you can do here is you've got access to the clarity of purpose. And this is one a lot of times we will actually even ask a leadership player in a multiplayer game to put extra of these in for other players, because it can be played under any player's control. You attach to a friendly character, max 1. Deal 1 damage to the attached character and generate a resource. Now, you could actually even put these, because it's max 1 per character. You could put 3 of these in your deck in a solo game and put them on your allies, but your allies will be taking damage to use it.
Right. But the other thing is this card does exactly the same thing as your symbiotic bond. So these 2 cards together will pay for any of those events.
Yes.
You're taking 2 damage though, but.
Yes. But of course, if you don't want to do it those ways, or if you're just looking for some additional ways to do it, of course you have the 3 enhanced. So these are old classics that each of them, depending on whether you're doing awareness, physique, or reflexes, they all come in. They cost 2 to play. They do come in with 3 counters on them. You can exhaust the card to generate 1 resource, or remove a counter from it, generate a resource of the appropriate color.
Then we have Resourceful. Now, this is a card I don't play very often, but for Venom, I could see it. 1 cost upgrade. You discard Resourceful to generate a wild resource. So if it's in your hand, you're getting the wild. But if you are, say, you don't have any cards you want to play 1 turn, you could bank it. It'll cost you an extra one because you're spending a resource to put this guy into play to generate 1 resource on a later turn.
Yeah, so but that's the nice thing is it's a wild resource you are saving for a later turn, so you can use it for any of those events, and you can, of course, have 3 of these in a deck.
Yep.
All right, of course, those are some of the more traditional ways to do it, but there is a way that we have found that we actually love to do it, is with the Quinn Carrier. Now, the Quinn Carrier is a 3-cost support that requires an Avenger to play it.
So
generate a wild
someone would have to make you an honorary Avenger.
Or
what does it do? It exhausts the Quinn.
To generate a wild resource. But you know what? You don't have to be an Avenger to actually play this card. Build support. So this is a 1-cost player side scheme. Comes in with 3 threat per player, but when defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for support with a cost of 3 or less. It costs 3, and put it into play. Putting it into play avoids the play only if condition. So you can put it into play because you are not playing it.
And now you have another wild to generate, and no matter what aspect you're in. So now if you're spending 2 wilds to generate one of those resources, you're only taking 1 point of damage.
Now, this is probably my favorite way to do it, and I really love doing this. What you're going to run into, though, is if you do have an Avenger player in the game, they're going to want this, or you might run across another player who wants to do the exact same trick that you want to do. So then it's just whoever can find it first and slap it down on the table. Maybe.
You're the lethal protector, so we get the vehicle.
But yeah, no, I love this little combination. This is one that Dave spotted this trick a little while back, and we have definitely been using the heck out of it since we saw that. And then, of course, because of all those extra resources that we're looking at playing here in the different colors, we thought this card would be a really good fit for a Venom deck here. It is multi-talented. It's a 3-cost event. It is an attack and a thwart event. If you paid for this using at least one of the following, you get the appropriate ability. So if you use a strength, you get to deal 2 damage to an enemy. If you use a mental, you get to remove 2 threat from a scheme. And if you use an energy, you get to heal 2 damage from your identity. And of course, if you use all 3, with these, of course, basically you just discard 3 tokens or 3 counters, and you can do it. Or you can use all of those wilds that you've used for the various different things. Quincare, clarity of purpose, resourceful,
Your symbiote.
all of those. So you can do all 3 of those almost without fail, to be honest with you, if you build, depending on how you build the deck. If you're going to use this card, that's a really good way to do it. Throw a lot of that stuff in there to beef up your attacks, your thwarts, your defense, and throw those cards in there as well.
Okay. So that was Venom. It has been a while since we played with Venom. We got to
Ooh, you know what we need to do now? We need to have a Venom and Bucky aggression fest. Just a rage fest. Throw them out there with all their weapons.
And they're fighting over the guns.
Yeah. Well, they'll share. There's enough to go around.
But it's like, I want Yarburn. No, I want Yarburn. You got the shield guns. You don't need Yarburn or whatever.
I need all the guns.
All right. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. All right. Anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see new content by us, go ahead and hit that notification bell down there, and you will get alerts when we post new videos. All right. See ya.